Title: Don't Beg When They Don't Reply. Send This and Never Be Ignored Again. Stoicism. The Stoic Spirit. Introduction. The inner strength of a Stoic mindset. In a world where instant communication has become the norm, it's easy to feel that the silence or lack of a response to a message is a direct reflection of your worth. Whether it's an unanswered text, a lack of feedback on your work, or someone ignoring you at a social event, the human instinct is often to feel rejected or overlooked. But here's the problem. This emotional turmoil only arises because we depend on others to define our sense of self. What if I told you that there is another way, a way that doesn't involve begging for attention or drowning in frustration when others don't reply? That path is Stoicism. At its core, Stoicism teaches us the incredible power of emotional detachment and mastery over our inner world. It doesn't encourage apathy or indifference. Rather, it teaches emotional resilience, where your peace and confidence don't depend on how others treat you. Instead of reacting out of desperation when faced with silence, you learn to respond from a place of inner strength and dignity. In this video, we will explore how Stoic philosophy can transform the way you approach interactions, especially when you're ignored or dismissed. If you've ever found yourself desperately seeking validation or chasing after someone's attention, Stoicism provides a far more empowering way. Before we dive into these timeless teachings, make sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of the powerful lessons that will help you navigate life's challenges with a steady heart and a clear mind. The pitfalls of pleading for attention. Why it's harmful. 1. In addition, it's almost universal. You send a message, an email, or make a call, only to receive no response. In today's hyper-connected world, the absence of a reply can feel like a personal insult. You may feel compelled to follow up, perhaps with more urgency, perhaps with a plea for a response. Please, don't ignore me, you might think. I just need to know you saw this. In our minds, it often seems like the only way to get through to someone is to plead, to ask again, and to send more messages, hoping that eventually they'll respond. This is where Stoic wisdom can offer profound insight. When you beg for a response, you give up your emotional power. You're outsourcing your sense of self-worth to the whims of others. If they reply, you feel validated. If they don't, your mood fluctuates, and your emotional state is hijacked. Begging or pleading for attention is a reactive stance. You are reacting to an external event, which is someone else's lack of response, and allowing it to control your emotional well-being. The Stoics understood that we cannot control others. We cannot force them to act, reply, or behave the way we want. The only thing we can control is how we respond to the world around us. And that is the key to emotional freedom. To stop begging for attention is to understand that your worth is not defined by how others treat you. You don't need validation from external sources. Once you understand this, you'll be able to live life with confidence, peace, and emotional strength. The dichotomy of control, what you can control and what you cannot. One of the most central principles in Stoicism is the dichotomy of control. This concept is deceptively simple, but profoundly transformative. There are things you can control, and there are things you cannot. You can control your actions, your thoughts, your responses, and your beliefs. Everything else, including the actions or inactions of other people, is beyond your control. If you've ever been ignored or felt overlooked, it's easy to fall into the trap of thinking you have control over the situation, but in reality, you don't. No matter how many messages you send, no matter how many ways you try to get someone's attention, you can't force someone to reply or react the way you want. The key, as the Stoics teach us, is to focus on what's within your control. When you stop trying to control others, you free yourself from frustration and emotional turmoil. You learn that silence is just that, silence. It's not a judgment of your worth, nor is it a personal attack. It's simply a part of life that happens from time to time. So what can you control? You can control your reaction. If someone doesn't reply, you can choose not to internalize it. Instead, you can respond with equanimity and inner peace, knowing that your emotional well-being doesn't hinge on their response. This mindset shift can be incredibly liberating. The Stoic approach teaches that true peace comes from within, and once you internalize this wisdom, you will never again feel as though your self-worth is tied to whether someone responds to you. Silence isn't a curse, the Stoic interpretation of being ignored. Modern culture has created a strange relationship with silence. In an age of constant communication, the idea of being ignored can feel like a personal failure or a sign of rejection. But from a Stoic perspective, silence is not inherently negative, it simply is. It's not a reflection of your worth, nor is it an indication that something is wrong with you. It's just the absence of communication, and it doesn't deserve an emotional response. Instead of seeing silence as a negative experience, you can learn to see it as an opportunity for reflection, growth, and emotional fortitude. If someone doesn't reply, instead of feeling frustrated or desperate, use that moment to focus on what you can control, your own emotions. You can take that time to reflect on your own actions, goals, and purpose. Maybe it's an opportunity to move on to something else, to focus on work, or to nurture your own passions without waiting for external validation. Moreover, silence can serve as a test of your emotional strength. The Stoic view is that challenges, including being ignored, are opportunities to practice patience, composure, and resilience. By learning not to be disturbed by silence, you will grow stronger. You'll begin to realize that your emotional state is no longer at the mercy of others. The Stoic Spirit, communicating with confidence and self-respect. So how can you approach communication in a way that reflects the Stoic spirit? First, it's important to understand that the Stoic response isn't about withdrawing or becoming indifferent to others. It's about communicating from a place of self-respect, knowing that your worth is not dependent on how others respond. When you reach out to someone, do so with clarity and purpose, without the expectation that they will reply immediately or even at all. Your message should be grounded in respect for both yourself and the other person. You don't need to beg, plead, or apologize for taking up their time. Instead, you communicate from a position of mutual respect, knowing that your peace is not threatened by their response. If they don't respond, don't take it personally. Instead of reacting with disappointment or frustration, recognize that their response, or lack thereof, is not a reflection of your value. It simply is what it is. This perspective allows you to communicate authentically, without anxiety, knowing that your sense of self-worth is not determined by external validation. A Stoic communicator doesn't chase approval. Instead, they approach each interaction with the knowledge that their emotional state is theirs to control and that true peace comes from within. Transforming your relationships from neediness to confidence. One of the most profound effects of adopting a Stoic mindset is the shift in the quality of your relationships. When you stop begging for attention and validation, you stop operating from a place of insecurity. This, in turn, makes your interactions with others more genuine, grounded, and respectful. When you're no longer chasing after someone's approval or trying to get them to respond, you create a healthier dynamic. People are drawn to confidence and self-respect. When you no longer need others to validate you, you become more magnetic because you are at peace with yourself. This shift can transform both personal and professional relationships. In friendships, it allows for deeper, more meaningful connections based on mutual respect rather than transactional interactions driven by insecurity. In professional settings, it enables you to collaborate, lead, and negotiate from a place of confidence, knowing that your value is not tied to external outcomes. By embracing the Stoic mindset, you move away from neediness and toward emotional strength. You become someone who can handle rejection, silence, and challenges with grace and composure. This is the foundation of building lasting and authentic relationships, grounded in mutual respect rather than dependence. Embracing virtue, the core of Stoic strength. At the heart of Stoicism is the cultivation of virtue. Virtue is not about following a set of rules or conforming to social expectations. Instead, it's about living in accordance with your highest principles: wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance. These virtues guide your actions, your relationships, and your internal state. When you stop begging for attention, you allow these virtues to guide your response to the world. Instead of reacting emotionally to being ignored, you embody wisdom by understanding that others' actions are outside your control. You demonstrate courage by standing firm in your self-worth, even when faced with rejection. You practice justice by treating yourself and others with respect, regardless of their behavior. And you show temperance by controlling your emotions and not allowing external factors to dictate how you feel. Virtue is the key to emotional resilience. When you live virtuously, your sense of self is rooted in your character, not in the approval of others. This gives you the strength to face any challenge with poise and dignity, regardless of the outcome. Conclusion. The freedom. Conclusion. The freedom of Stoicism and emotional mastery. The most powerful lesson Stoicism offers is the ability to master your inner world. When you stop seeking external validation, when you stop begging for replies, and when you stop allowing others' actions to dictate your emotional state, you unlock an extraordinary freedom. This freedom is the freedom to live according to your own principles, without being tethered to the whims and moods of others. Imagine what life would be like if you were never again dependent on someone else's reply to feel good about yourself. Imagine how much more peaceful and resilient you would feel if you could face silence, rejection, and indifference without letting them upset your balance. This is the gift of Stoicism, emotional sovereignty. By practicing Stoic principles like emotional detachment, the dichotomy of control, and the cultivation of virtue, you will become less vulnerable to external circumstances and more grounded in your own strength. 5. When someone ignores you or doesn't reply to your message, it no longer has to be a source of frustration or anxiety. Instead, you can respond with grace, recognizing that you are the master of your own emotional state. Silence is just an opportunity to practice patience and emotional resilience. Being ignored doesn't mean you are unworthy. It simply means that the moment for communication hasn't come yet, and that's okay. The more you practice Stoicism in these situations, the less they will affect you. You will naturally shift from a place of neediness to a place of inner peace, where your worth is anchored in your own character, not in the validation of others. Over time, this will make you more attractive to others, not in a superficial way, but in a deeper, more authentic manner. People are drawn to those who exude confidence, calm, and resilience, traits that are the natural result of practicing Stoic philosophy. The path forward. Continue your Stoic journey. As you move forward, remember that Stoicism is not about perfection or instant results. It's a lifelong practice, a journey toward mastering your emotions and developing unshakable inner strength. Every time you encounter a situation where you might have once begged for attention, you now have the opportunity to practice Stoicism and reinforce the wisdom of emotional detachment. Every situation, no matter how small, is a chance to become stronger, wiser, and more composed. Whether it's waiting for a reply to a message, dealing with rejection in a professional setting, or simply handling the everyday frustrations that arise in relationships, Stoicism provides you with the tools to handle them with grace and confidence. Lessons. The more you apply these principles in your life, the less you will feel the urge to chase after validation. You will begin to trust in your own worth and your ability to handle whatever life throws your way, and in doing so, you will discover a deeper peace that comes from living in harmony with your own values and principles, rather than the fluctuating opinions and responses of others. One of the simplest ways to do this is by focusing your attention, not just on the responses of others. Why you should subscribe. Unlock more Stoic wisdom. If this video has resonated with you and you want to continue learning how Stoic philosophy can help you become emotionally resilient, find peace in your everyday life, and master your responses to external challenges, then make sure to subscribe to this channel. Each video we share on this channel aims to provide you with practical Stoic wisdom that you can apply in your day-to-day life. We'll explore timeless lessons, modern-day applications of Stoicism, and insights that will help you cultivate the Stoic spirit in all aspects of your life, from your personal relationships to your professional endeavors and beyond. By subscribing, you will join a growing community of like-minded individuals who are committed to mastering their inner world, embracing personal growth, and leading lives of purpose and resilience. Together, we'll delve deeper into the transformative power of Stoicism and how it can help us live better, more meaningful lives. So, if you're ready to take control of your emotional world and stop begging for attention, click that subscribe button now. Join me on this journey to becoming the best version of yourself, living with clarity, strength, and unshakable peace. Exercise. Step 1. Breathe a sigh of relief practice. Remember, true power comes not from others, but from within. Stay calm, stay strong, and live in accordance with your highest values. The Stoic spirit is yours to embody. Let's continue this journey together. Final thoughts. True freedom lies in your response. Expertise on the face of despair. Ultimately, the freedom you're seeking doesn't come from external circumstances or from the responses of others. It comes from the power you have over your own mind. Through the practice of Stoicism, you gain mastery over your thoughts, emotions, and actions, which leads to a life that is defined not by what happens to you, but by how you choose to respond to it. When you're ignored, remember this: it is not a reflection of your worth. It is simply a moment in time that holds no power over you unless you give it power. By adopting the Stoic mindset, you can transform every moment of silence or rejection into an opportunity for personal growth and emotional resilience. By the end of this video, I hope you've gained a new perspective on how to handle being ignored. You no longer need to beg for attention, because you already have everything you need within yourself. And as you continue to apply these Stoic principles, you'll find that the more you embrace your own emotional strength, the less you will rely on the attention of others. In the end, the Stoic spirit is the most powerful tool you can have to navigate the complexities of life with poise and unshakable confidence. Then, subscribe now to continue your journey toward becoming emotionally independent, resilient, and at peace. Let's build a stronger, wiser, and more Stoic version of ourselves, one video at a time. The power of reflecting. Turning neglect into opportunity. One of the most valuable practices in Stoicism is reflection. Every situation, especially one where you feel ignored or overlooked, offers an opportunity for introspection. Rather than reacting emotionally, Stoics encourage us to take a step back and reflect on the experience. Instead of focusing on the external factor, the person who didn't reply, the email left unread, or the conversation that went silent, focus on what you can learn from it and how you can improve your own mental state moving forward. When you're ignored or neglected, it's natural to feel hurt or frustrated, but these emotions don't need to control you. The Stoic approach teaches that we can control how we interpret situations, and by doing so, we regain control over our emotional responses. Use the moment of neglect as an opportunity for personal growth. Ask yourself questions like, why does this bother me? What does this reveal about my need for approval? How can I detach from this and find peace? By consistently practicing reflection, you cultivate a deeper understanding of yourself. You begin to recognize that it's not the silence or the rejection itself that causes you distress, but your own attachment to external validation. The Stoic response is to detach from these expectations and instead focus on mastering your internal world. Every time someone ignores you, rather than feeling disheartened, you now have the opportunity to embrace growth, self-reliance, and emotional independence. Through regular reflection, you transform moments of neglect into building blocks of emotional strength and resilience. The impact of silence on personal growth. Silence, though often uncomfortable in the short term, can have a profound effect on your personal growth. Most people dread silence because it creates a space that's filled with their thoughts, anxieties, and doubts. But the Stoics teach us to embrace silence as a tool for self-awareness and growth. When you face a period of silence or when someone chooses not to respond to you, there is an inherent opportunity to reconnect with yourself. Instead of seeking distractions, fill that silence with reflection. It's an invitation to dive deeper into your own mind, to check in with your emotional state, and to reassess your values and goals. In a world that thrives on constant interaction and communication, silence becomes a powerful teacher. It allows you to hear your inner voice more clearly. In moments of quiet, you can ask yourself, what is truly important to me? What do I want to contribute to the world? Instead of focusing on what's not coming from others, you can begin to focus on what you're not giving to yourself. The beauty of silence, from a Stoic perspective, is that it provides you with the chance to clear away the noise of external expectations and reconnect with your true purpose. It helps you grow by reminding you that you do not need others' responses to affirm your value. You already have everything you need within yourself. Contrary to this belief, the act of meditation can be therapeutic for many, including people who are struggling with addiction as well. The role of virtue in overcoming emotional turmoil. As mentioned earlier, the Stoics place virtue at the center of their philosophy. Virtue isn't just about behaving in morally right ways. It's about aligning your actions with your higher principles. It's about living with wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance. These virtues form the foundation for overcoming any external adversity, including the emotional turmoil of being ignored or dismissed. In light of these virtues, we can start by clarifying the definitions of trying to understand rationality. When you embrace Stoic virtues, you begin to see yourself as the master of your emotions and responses rather than a passive victim of external circumstances. Wisdom helps you understand that the silence of others has no bearing on your worth. Courage empowers you to face uncomfortable situations with poise, even when you're feeling ignored. Justice reminds you to treat both yourself and others with respect, without overvaluing someone else's opinion. Temperance enables you to control your emotional impulses, so that you don't fall prey to frustration or desperation when someone doesn't reply. Every time you practice virtue in the face of neglect or silence, you are strengthening your emotional foundation. Instead of feeling weak or diminished, you rise to the occasion, acting with integrity and confidence. Over time, these Stoic virtues become second nature, and your emotional state becomes less dependent on external validation. You begin to lead a life of character, one where your emotional strength is rooted in your own actions, not the actions of others. Building lasting emotional resilience, the long-term benefits of Stoicism. One of the greatest gifts Stoicism offers is emotional resilience, the ability to stay calm, clear-headed, and composed no matter what life throws your way. Over time, by consistently practicing the principles of Stoicism, you build a strong foundation of emotional strength that is almost unshakable. Imagine a life where you no longer feel swayed by the behavior of others. If someone ignores you, you won't feel defeated or upset. If a conversation falls silent, you won't immediately seek to fill the void with more words or desperate messages. Instead, you will be at peace with the present moment, knowing that your value doesn't depend on anyone else's reaction. Emotional resilience is built through consistent practice, and Stoicism provides you with all the tools necessary for this. By applying the dichotomy of control, embracing silence as an opportunity for growth, and living in accordance with your virtues, you naturally build a shield around your emotions. This emotional resilience not only helps you handle being ignored, it prepares you to face all of life's challenges with equanimity. The more you practice Stoic principles, the more you'll find that nothing can shake your inner peace. Rejections, neglect, silence, they all become opportunities for you to reaffirm your strength and your ability to remain grounded, no matter what's happening around you. The path to true independence, self-reliance, and emotional mastery. True emotional independence comes when you stop relying on others for validation and approval. This is the essence of Stoicism, living in alignment with your values, regardless of how others perceive you. By practicing Stoicism, you begin to cultivate a profound sense of self-reliance, where you no longer need external sources of affirmation to feel good about yourself. When someone doesn't respond to your message, it no longer feels like a blow to your self-worth. Instead, you simply acknowledge it as a fact of life and move forward. The Stoic sees external events not as good or bad, but as events that simply occur. It is our response to these events that shapes our experience, and when you stop responding to silence with emotional turmoil, you begin to develop the strength to handle anything life throws your way. Self-reliance, however, doesn't mean becoming isolated or disconnected from others. It means being in control of your emotional state regardless of what others do. You can still care for others, you can still engage in meaningful relationships, but you no longer need them to complete you. You are whole, as you are, and nothing, no lack of response, no silence, can change that. Before closing thoughts. The journey of a Stoic. As we conclude this video, I encourage you to remember that Stoicism isn't about perfection, it's about progress. It's about developing the wisdom to recognize that your worth doesn't depend on anyone else. By embracing the principles of Stoicism, you stop begging for attention and start living with dignity, self-respect, and emotional strength. Being ignored, neglected, or rejected no longer has to shake you. You can handle these moments with the calm and poise of a Stoic, knowing that your peace doesn't rely on anyone else's actions. Over time, you will develop emotional resilience, and your sense of self-worth will be anchored in your own values, not in the fleeting attention of others. Part of being a human being is knowing whatever happens to you stays with you. If you found value in this video and want to continue exploring the life-changing wisdom of Stoicism, please make sure to subscribe to this channel. We dive deep into practical applications of Stoic philosophy that can transform your life. You'll learn how to live with more clarity, resilience, and confidence, no matter what external challenges you face. Join me on this journey of personal growth. Together, we can embrace the Stoic way of life and build a future where we are unshaken by the silence of others. Remember, your worth is not determined by the replies you get. It is determined by the strength of your character. Stay strong, stay Stoic, and always remember, you are enough, just as you are. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss an opportunity to improve your life with the timeless wisdom of Stoicism.